From Nutrien Ag Solutions, this is Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Monday, January 24th, 2022. Well, again, it is cold in the east, a little more mild as you head back toward the west. That's because we've got the jet stream doing something like this. Big area of upper level low pressure over the Hudson Bay, troughing, trying to push in from the Pacific, and as such, we've got more mild temperatures near the freezing mark across much of Alberta, far southwest Saskatchewan, and then you got a minus 24 as you head over toward the Winnipeg area. So a divided temperature pattern here, and this also explains some of the precipitation across the region through the week as well. As we animate the satellite picture, of course, infrared satellite here, the sun not coming up yet early this Monday morning. We can see the cold cloud temperatures, though, coming up and over the top of the ridge, and then pivoting around the base of the trough. So again, upper level low pressure to the east. We've got the high off to the west. We get storm systems, little disturbances riding over the ridge, and then crashing from northwest to southeast across the prairie. So again, we kind of did an analysis, on the last video here, looking at what is it going to take to bring significant precipitation back into this region here, southern Alberta, far southwest Saskatchewan, that badly needs precipitation. And again, this is not going to do it. This has been giving us those frequent light shots of precipitation, light flurries, light wintry mix, just kind of problematic with the slick roadways there, but not really adding any robust moisture to the soil here, or at least on top of it to melt into the soil as we thaw here. So we need to kind of flip this pattern. We almost need the complete opposite if we're going to be talking about bringing beneficial precipitation in there. So we'll talk about if we're going to get to that anytime soon as we go through this forecast video. But here's the pattern that we've been stuck in, again, over the last, it feels like a really long time, the last several weeks at the very least, these northwest to southeast moving clipper systems. Again, the result of being squeezed in between the high to the east, complete flip there, squeezed between the low to the east and the high to the west. I'll have another cup of coffee here this Monday morning. We'll take a look at the radar picture here. We'll move on with the forecast. I get in the habit of trying to give the whole forecast just using the satellite picture, but here you go. Some light snow flurries making their way through the prairie here, especially across central and southern Alberta, getting into southwest Saskatchewan. Very light, inconsequential precipitation expected with this light accumulation, I should say. And that's going to be the story as we head through the work week. We've got this shot of snow across southern Alberta, southwestern Saskatchewan today. Generally quiet Tuesday and Wednesday with another shot of flurries as you move into Saskatchewan and Manitoba Wednesday into Thursday. So a little slower here. Here's your Monday. We'll take this through Monday into Monday night. Tuesday looks quiet across the region. Wednesday generally quiet as well. Maybe some flurries pushing into central Saskatchewan into southern Manitoba. By the end of the day, much of the flurry activity coming Wednesday night into Thursday with this little system, little front that kind of sweeps through. But again, very light, inconsequential snow accumulation expected with this as we head through the majority of the week. We see here from the NBM total snowfall forecast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday into midday Thursday. Very light, minor accumulation, dusting here, maybe some terrain impacts here, getting some higher totals. But in general, again, compare this side by side, NBM, the European here, just taking it through the next 3.5 days, but through the bulk of the work week here, again, chances for flurries, not going to be seeing much in the way of accumulation though. But if we look at the next 10 days, this is the European model, this includes next weekend and then the first half of next week, we start talking about more in the way of significant snow, at least a little bit more robust, getting away from the dustings to the light flurries. But how much can we really trust this? Again, as we are desperately looking for that heavy snowfall across this region. Well, here's the pattern over the next 10 days, the next 10 to 14, as advertised by the European Ensemble forecast here. Again, low off to the east, upper level low, and then here is our ridge, jet stream coming up and over the top around the base of the trough there. Now again, this has led to northwest to southeast moving clipper systems. If you want the big robust storm systems, you want to be on the leading side of that trough. This is across the northeastern US where they've had a series of winter storms over the last 2 to 3 weeks, a very active late December and month of January across that region. You want to be on the lead side of that trough, and that's why we talk about if we want to see real robust snowfall making its way into southern Alberta, southern Saskatchewan, we want to work on some troughing across this region so that we're on the leading side of that trough here across the region. So are we going to get there? Well, over the next 5 to 7 days, no. We're going to keep this pattern here with the ridge. Sorry, let me jump back here. I do want to stop this as we get toward the end of the week. This is Wednesday into Thursday. Same pattern here, ridge, trough to the west. I'm sorry, my west and east are going to just be problematic this Monday morning. Trough to the east, ridge to the west is the pattern as we head through the week. But the advertised pattern transitioning from late January into February is to bring, one or two or maybe a series of disturbances in here across the Pacific Northwest, across Western Canada. This is not necessarily textbook, but this is getting us a lot closer. Now we're talking about troughing here across the west with ridging in the east. This is going to be at least a step closer here. So something to watch as we get to the end of January, the beginning of February. Details just not quite available here, too many moving parts, but this is a start, at least as we get into days 10 to 14. And that's reflected here as we just take the European model all the way to the end of its 10-day forecast run. Again, over the next 5 days, you got a lot of this. Systems sweeping in out of the northwest, being squeezed in between the low to the east, the ridge to the west. And here you go. This is that Wednesday, Thursday little system that kind of just pinwheeling around the base of that trough over the Hudson Bay. We get the same thing as we head into the weekend, just chances for flurries. But here we go. Now we're starting to see a pattern change. Now we're bringing disturbances in from the west. We're starting to bring in some upper level support, something like this. And you see the response here is to bring in much more activity, potentially much more in the way of robust, measurable precipitation to the region as we get all the way out here into the first few days of February. So we'll talk more about this through the week, and then again as we touch base next Monday morning in the form of this weekly Canadian Prairie video. Here you go, though. Through the next 7 days, very light, inconsequential precipitation across the region. So your next week, light flurries, warmer in the west, colder in the east. Shots of cold air continue, but as we look at the next 10 days, maybe some hope to start changing the pattern. I'm not telling you that I see the system that's going to end the drought across the region. I'm just saying there is hope as we get to the end of January, the beginning of February, at least for a more favorable pattern to bring some measurable snowfall into the region. Your temperatures over the next 5 days on the left, days 5 to 10 on the right. Again, warmer in the west, colder in the east as we head through the next 5 days or so, but cold air going to be really claiming the prairie again in large-scale fashion as we turn the calendar from January into February. So cold is on its way back as we get into days 5 and 10, and especially days 10 to 15, the GFS ensemble really bringing some big cold back into the Canadian Prairie, the northern plains of the United States. Your next 10 days, your high and low temperatures across some select cities here. Calgary hanging out with highs generally in the middle single digits as we head through the weekend. Edmonton, a similar look here. Saskatoon, minus 20 today, jumping back up to the minus single digits for your highs over the next 5 days or so. Similar look here in Regina, bitterly cold on Monday, a little less bitterly cold as we head through the rest of the week. And then Winnipeg, a little quick there, bitterly cold for the days Monday and Tuesday, getting back into the really cold realm as we head through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I hope you have a great Monday and a wonderful rest of your week.